This shiur is being dedicated Leilui Nishmas Marat Rocholea Bereb Chaim Svi. We're in Perek Lamed Chet, Pasuk Hey. Vatosef od vateled ben vatikrat shmo Shela vaya b'chziv b'lidata. We're in the middle of the Indian of trying to understand the name Shela and what is significance in Torah Kedosha telling us that she was in that Vahaya and he was in Chziv when she gave birth to Shela. So here the Sforno points out Vatam Shikrato Shela Lashon Lo Teshalet. The reason why he's called Shela, that she calls him Shela, is the language of Lo Teshalet. Do not deceive me. Do not disappoint me. Shu Shem Bilti Naod. It's not a very positive type of name. Why? Why did she name him this name? Mipnei Yehuda haya az b'chziv. Because Yehuda was in Chziv when she had given birth to him. And she was disappointed that she didn't see her husband at the time of giving birth. And had Yehuda been there, says the Sforno, he never would have agreed to give the child such an unpleasant name, a name of deception, a name of disappointment. On this, the Ksava Kabbalah, Rav Michlenberg, in page 27, notes the following. He quotes the Sforno, and he says, "V'nira li," 5 lines up from the bottom, "Kishem Shela v'chziv yesh baratam inyan ta'ut v'shkaga." He says there is a common denominator both in the name Shela and in the name mentioned in the pasuk Chziv, which is the inyan of a mistake. V'targum shkaga shlota, and in fact, the Targum, Aramaic translation of shogeg, of an accidental thing, is shlota, which is the idea of Shela. Ubechatu vayakeu ala shal, v'chein chazav ikar inyano ta'ut v'shkaga. And the whole idea of chziv, of a chazav, is making a mistake. Shetoev machshavato v'yitmeh shomer amet. But it's a type of mistake which isn't like sheker. Sheker is when you know you're not telling the truth. Chazav is when you really believe that you're telling the truth, but you were mistaken. Sheker hu shebe'eti baro yodea batzmo sheino amet. Right, sheker is when you know you're not speaking the truth. V'chazav hu, and chazav, when you use that term in for lying, hu shebe'eti baro yitmeh shekayemti baro. It means that you really expected to keep your word, but you weren't able to. So in retrospect, you were lying. So for example, sheker would be, I'll meet you at 12 o'clock for lunch, and you know you'll be out of town, and you know you can't meet the person. That's a sheker. Chazav is, I'll meet you at 12 o'clock, and then something comes up, and you're not there at 12 o'clock, but you intended to be there. So yes, in retrospect, you didn't tell the truth, but your every intention was to tell the truth. V'achar kach, what happens in Chazav is that there's some type of mania, there's some type of outside force which prevents you, right? Got caught in a traffic jam, you're a flat tire, something prevents you from keeping your word. Moving to the next page of Ksava Kabbalah 28. V'hu hayat chila mut'ah v'chol inyan Yehuda and Tamar haya b'ta'ut v'shkaga. And says the Kabbalah, really, the idea of Shela being born in Chziv is almost like a foreshadowing of the entire section of Yehuda and Tamar, which is built on this aspect, not really of lying, but of making mistakes and deception. Hu hita ota lomar ad yigdal Shela. He is in a sense deceiving her by saying, I will give you Shela once Shela grows up. And because of that, because he didn't keep his promise, he then came to the mistake or the repercussions of coming to her. And he made a mistake in a dvar mitzvah, as we'll see, of Yibu. Kinyan Amram Hamakom Gorem Shemagaram. That the name Shelah, name Chziv, are just giving us a foreshadowing of that there is no real sheker going on here. There's no one who's really trying to hurt anyone on purpose. But the whole story is about a certain type of deception that isn't meant to be that way, but turns out to be that way. And that's really the leitmotif of this story. Of certain things happen that we wouldn't have expected them to happen, and the name Shelah, who this really story revolves upon, because had Tamar married Shelah and Shelah had done Yibum, then this whole story of Yehuda and Tamar would never have occurred even. And the whole idea of Chziv, the name, is all instrumental in almost foreshadowing. Shema Garim, Makom Garim. The name of the place, the name of the person is almost setting up for us the whole backdrop of this story. And really, the Ksava Kabbalah is going on this famous idea, which we're all familiar with,